What's up, everybody? It's Walter, your favorite historian and professor. Today's date is May 23rd, 2026. This video is entitled Confederate Monuments in Baltimore, Maryland. Around a decade ago, 2017, during the first episode of The Apprentice, White House Chronicles, Baltimore Mayor Catherine Pugh ordered the removal of many Confederate monuments in the city of Baltimore, literally in a fly-by-night operation. And the purpose of that was to quell any potential racial violence or issues from happening in Baltimore, like specifically what was going on in Charlottesville, Virginia, if you recall, that year. All right, and it was also a year of heightened awareness around the United States, with many such monuments being vandalized and destroyed completely, okay, with graffiti. Some were literally torn apart, torn down, all sorts of things. And we removed the Confederate monuments here, and they were taken to safe locations elsewhere. Now, it appears that a lot of these monuments are set to return to Charm City sometime in the future, and it has certainly brought about no short amount of controversy as a result. So I will give my opinion straightforward. Baltimore, Maryland does not need Confederate monuments. We were never a part of the Confederacy, nor was the state of Maryland. Coinciding with that, we do not honor losers, nor do we honor traitors, which is what they were. Now, many Marylanders are of the opinion that because you had Marylanders who fought in the Confederate Army, which is absolutely positively true, you had roughly about 25,000 Marylanders who joined Lee's Army of Northern Virginia. Even though the state did not secede, many Marylanders did. And that's all fine, well, and good. That's on them. But they're traitors. They do not deserve monuments. So let's get some greater understanding also on why they do not deserve monuments. Well, aside from Maryland never joining the Confederacy and us not honoring traitors and losers, monuments have the intended purpose, unlike mere statues, of permanently memorializing someone or something that deserves to be remembered forever, because they did such wonderful, beautiful, glorious things that they deserve to be preserved eternally in stone, which is perfectly fine and acceptable for those who have earned it. But again, these people are traitors who committed armed treason against the United States of America, and thus do not deserve to be memorialized in stone. And you will have many people who will make the argument, well, you shouldn't erase history and destroy history and should put the monuments back. Darling, you do not have to memorialize someone in bronze or stone to make sure we never forget our history. It's called the oral tradition. It's called books. It's called the History Channel. Does Germany have to put up a monument to Adolf Hitler so that they never forget the Holocaust and his subsequent absolute destruction of the continent of Europe during World War II? All right, it's absolutely positively ludicrous to suggest that you need a monument so that history is not forgotten. I don't think the Jewish people or anybody or many others in Germany would accept the erecting of a monument to Adolf Hitler so that people never forget World War II or the Holocaust. It's not necessary, okay? We will never forget World War II or the Holocaust, and we certainly do not need a monument to Hitler to never forget that. In the same way, in the United States, we will never forget the thousands of traitors who committed armed treason against the United States of America by forming an illegal rump state called the Confederate States of America and firing guns, cannons, and mortar at American soldiers, okay? And I say at American soldiers because these people no longer considered themselves to be Americans. They had decided to willfully and knowingly break away from the United States of America illegally to form a separate country. I don't know what in the world they perceived themselves to be, but it was not homegrown Americans. And so they're not Americans, and they do not deserve to be Americans honored in that format. So we do not need to glorify people, all right, who decided that they no longer wanted to be a part of this country, even if many of those people were from Maryland itself. And adding further, as Baltimore today is a predominantly African American city, it makes even less sense to return monuments to a place, monuments that are glorifying people who were risking their lives to protect the perpetual enslavement of the ancestors of the vast majority of the population of the city of Baltimore. You tell me how much sense that makes, all right? To put up Confederate monuments, put them back here in a predominantly African American city, all right? People who were fighting to keep the ancestors of Black Americans enslaved. Tell me how much god darn sense that makes. I'll wait. None, all right? And so whatever they decide to do with these monuments glorifying Confederate traitors, I said what I said. It ain't nobody gonna change my opinion. All right, I'm a black man. I am an American, and I do not look fondly upon traitors. Okay, and I look even less upon people who attempt to glorify these individuals. If that's your ancestor, I feel bad for you, but they're still traitors to me. And I look even less upon people who glorify these individuals as having done something great, so deserving of monuments, when they would have happily likely shot your ancestors too. All right, especially if they were fighting for the North, ladies and gentlemen. So let us not pretend that these Confederates were somehow honorable or noble or good people. No, they were not. They were not, and certainly did nothing to deserve monuments. Monuments are reserved for good, righteous people, people who fought for good things, people who fought for equality, for justice, for equity, not for people who fought for the perpetual enslavement of one race by another. And that's my thoughts on the matter. Easy, 1, 2, 3. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Quite frankly, in my opinion, those Confederate monuments ought to be melted down and either buried under the ground. Might have some environmental issues or concerns with that. Or better still, repurposed to honor people who deserve monuments. So now, I'm really done this time. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below, and I'll be happy to engage in good, positive, peaceful, or, if necessary, toxic discussion. Take care of yourselves, stay safe out there, and I'll talk to you at the next video. Professor Shelton, the historian, and Blue Collar Scholar, out. Peace.